Okay. I think I am good. Alright. So, this is a weekly, end of week recap pretty much of what I did. I think I need to start making these more because I am losing a lot of, experience or, I guess, information of what I've done based on past experience. I think I can learn a lot more if I were to, do end of week recaps. But I haven't done one in like a month, I think, so I don't know. But I'm going to talk about Monday going into Friday, right? And Monday, this whole week was very fucking fruitful, honestly, it's insane. But Monday, the only market that was clean was oil. Let's read what I said. So this was very fucking informative, or fruitful. Like I said, I learned so much from this based on my entry model. But so I said today's PA was ass, right? No market was clean besides oil, but oil was unclean when heading into 10 a.m. And here's why. I don't like the idea of trading 4-hour reversal candles on oil, such metals, right? Mechanically, 10 a.m. reversal here was valid to trade, simply because of the entry and stop loss was in a premium of the 4-hour candles range, measured from the open to high rate, and because we had that string switch 6 HSBT, which confirmed the reversal. Notice how even when things were unclean, not perfect, I could have risked it for the biscuit and entered off of the first CSD to reach a 2R easily, or a 3R with summary. Although there wouldn't be, and that's one thing that I realized too, is with my entry model, although I'm mainly shooting for a 3R plus easily because it's very easy to do so now. Back in the day when shooting for a 2R, it was hard for me to do that because I would enter off the first or the second CSD, right? And so, or I was trading the trade continuation, which automatically the RR is going to be lower than if you're trading the reversal. But more times than not, I would say 80% of the time with my entry model, I'm able to go break even before price reaches a 1R, and typically it reaches a 2R before, if anything, before it comes back and takes me out at break even. So, I can shoot, there could be 10 opportunities within the day, and I can shoot for all 10 of them, and I usually have, it's like a 100% win rate at this point. It's fucking godlike, it's insane. But, let's keep going. So, although there wouldn't be much worry considering that even if I were to shoot for a 3R, there wouldn't be much worry considering that I could have trimmed my stop loss by 1/2 right away, and then break even once price expanded away from the CICC. This is how and why UV or Splash takes so many trades during the day and having pretty much a 100% win rate, despite everything not seeming too clean, but everything is still logical to expand, right? So it's just but entering off the first CC can easily prior to 2R most of the time, but leaving a runner towards a 3 to 5R is hella smart. It just proves how easy it truly is to make money off of this shit, right? But let's look at the recap. I forgot what the price did. I haven't even looked through this yet, but let's just go through it. Let's see, main points. Titanium invalidated the hard hammer bias when creating too large of a wig, therefore I couldn't trust the string switch second stage SVT that confirmed the daily and 4-hour reversal candles, right? So, but, see how this is oil. So simply price expanded higher last week, fell shy of a relevant level, and then money opened higher and then reached into that key level. So the weekly candle formation supports the bearish framework of external to internal liquidity. The daily sort of supports the expansion bearishly. It's not bad. It's not too large of a wick, overthink that. But framework external to internal profile C2 reversal into expansion, and then the SMT would be with the key level itself being the first stage SMT. But here's my notes. Price is extremely bullish and has reached a key level. Alright, on the daily plus, so a new phase of price delivery is high probability, right? Technically, RB is the strongest asset for the day, but based on how 6 a.m. closed on the 4-hour, I wanted 10 a.m. to respect the invalidation level on RB while CLHO creates string switching with the 6 SMT. Okay, let me look at that. Yeah, so here's RB and HO. Okay, so today opened higher as well into the key level, right? So the daily candle formation supports that bearish framework of water pair ranges or external to internal. Not gonna lie though, just by looking at this, it kind of makes sense why. What is that to use? 10 a.m. It makes sense why price didn't want to continue that expansion right during 10 a.m. It was just slow because of that dead space right there. Um, but framework, what a framework is, right? Profile 6 AM C3, 10 AM C4, and then the S&P would be that string switch 6-day S&P, which ultimately confirms the reversal day and the reversal 4-hour candle. But I wanted to see, like I said on the daily, right here, I said I wanted to see RB, or I want to see close on the 4-hour. I wanted 10 AM to, I wanted to see, obviously 10 AM respect the EQ of this candle, right? But it didn't, because I wanted to see that expansion candle during 10 AM. If we're going to continue and create that expansion candle away from the high day, away from the key level, but we didn't. So dropping early 1 hour 3 minute though. 10 AM opened up, and this is the refined key level. We created C2 away from key levels here, right? Because the main thing is during London or 6 AM, we created the SMT with pretty high, and then we expanded away, right? So we're technically trading the universal sequence or continuation, obviously. So that really confirms the reversal. And I was really just targeting, the previous four candle, makes sense. But 10 AM opened up and failed to respect that C2 that it opened up within. I mean the GXT continuation sequence, so it's got to reverse away from that. And then the fact that 10 AM or during 10:30 price displaced through that high and didn't manipulate, it's now creating too large of a wick. Automatically, that's an invalidation. I don't like trading for reversal candles that have large wicks, right? Especially on oil metals, right? I would only do it on indices. It's just not clean. But mechanically, here's why it would be clean to do so. Because price expanded higher, created that string switch 6-day S&P, and then actually closed with a PSP, which is actually a string switch PSP as well. On the other assets, but so looking within this wick that defines the C2 that defines the or confirms the high of the 4-hour candle and technically the day too, right? We have that clean V-shape gap, and this entry is within premium of the daily candle or 10 AM 4-hour candle measuring from the open to the high, assuming this is the high of the 4-hour candle, right? It's gonna hold. It's definitely a valid entry. And then once price creates that CICSD, that's when I can go break even or trim my stop to, or trim my stop by at least 1/2 or by 3/4, right? But that, like, this just shows like how easy it is, even during like shit PA like this. It's honestly just not worth trading, but even during times like these, you could easily fucking make some money. It's like so fucking easy, but you just gotta be willing to risk it, which is, it's not really that stressful when you enter like this. But anyways, Monday was ass, but it did provide some form of entry, although I know there was definitely more opportunities, not just on oil, but on other markets. It's just, this was like, I think, the cleanest here. And then the indices, right? On Tuesday. Alright, so the indices on Tuesday. This was super clean, and I was so mad at myself for missing this. I remember, because I was looking at oil. Even oil during Asia was super clean, but the indices were cleaner, and the reason why I didn't see this is because I distracted myself. I decided to listen to music and search for new music and just distract myself instead of tape reading and looking at other markets and seeing what, if there's any other opportunities in any other market, right? Instead of just focusing on one market, instead of focusing on all assets, seeing, okay, what asset is cleaner, logical, like just cleaner to trade? Because you never know. There could be, like, for example, this here proves that there could be another asset, obviously, that is cleaner than the asset that I'm already looking at, which is kind of clean. And I maybe want to, be like, okay, I'm going to scrap the idea on oil. Maybe I'll still take it, but I'll probably just look at indices at that point because it's cleaner, right? High probability to trade. But I decided to distract myself and only look at oil. But it's all good. So I said, here's a detailed journal for what Asia did today on indices Saturday. I missed it, and it was my fault. I believe that both entries that were provided is a valuable lesson in itself. It just goes to show how powerful the model truly is. I believe that the second entry that was provided didn't provide the best entry location, but considering how far the higher time frame target level is to where my entry is, it's still 100% valid. Trading is like gardening. You don't need to overthink every little thing. Don't just follow the instructions. Pattern trading, right? Let the plants or the markets show you the way, right? That's exactly how it is. Anyways, you can't force them. But, so, Um, so yeah, so the summary, right? I didn't trade this because I was too focused on oil during Asia, laughing at myself. Also, I was distracting myself, etc. So exactly. So the daily, right? The bias. Previous week expanded higher. So the weekly and the daily are extremely bullish, right? And this is so important. The fact that this week opened higher to pre-week high, the weekly candle formation itself supports the bearish framework to do external to internal range liquidity, right? It would be different if like maybe today, Monday, kind of like opened lower, was bearish, and then created this gap, and then we can anticipate, obviously continuation of previous week's range away from the refined key level for internal to external range liquidity. But the fact that we opened higher at first to take pre-week high and then reverse, we can definitely anticipate price on Tuesday continue to then take pretty low or to trade back into internal range liquidity, right? As the, like I said, the weekly candle formation supports that bearish framework. So framework is the external to internal range liquidity. The profile is technically Tuesday C2 reversal into expansion candle, and the S&P is second stage S&P or second stage PSP, but they're both string switching, right? Because the PSP closing bullishly, showing more strength, and then the failure S&P here showing more weakness. So it was stronger, and then it became weaker, right? So ideally you trade NQ because it's the weakest for the day because of the S&P. So the day supports the finish bearishly, right? So then jumping down to the but yeah, we can just anticipate a new phase of price delivery as well, right? We are extremely bullish on the weekly and daily. We need to, after expansion, we need to retrace, right? Based on how price looks. But I remember looking at this, and I think I remember looking at it real quickly, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't like the refined key level in the 4 hour. And I was like, there's no refined key level in the 4 hour for Tuesday to continue from Monday's range, right? But I didn't even think about, okay, what if we create S&T? Because I was thinking, if we take pretty high, we're going to create 2 ledger wick. What if we create S&P with it though? Like I didn't think about that. Like it's stupid. But exactly what we did. 1800 opened up. The front key level would be either pretty high or pretty low, right? And we're opening up neutrally in between pretty high and pretty low. So it's like, ideally, the daily kind of formation supports that bearish framework of range high and manipulation to then reach range low, right? If we're going to trade from external to internal on the daily. Exactly what we do. 1800 opens up, trades into the key level, creates S&T. Okay, great. Does 1800 support expansion bearishly? No, it doesn't. So we gotta wait for candle alignment. 1800 closes, creates that second stage PSP. We don't need to see second stage S&P again on the 4 hour since we already have it on the daily, which confirms the reversal D, right? But we still got it. Now that we got candle alignment, so the framework would be order pair ranges. The profile would be 1800 C2, looking for 2200 C3 or 2 aims, London C4, and then the S&T would be that second stage S&T with the highs, right? And I'm mainly targeting pretty low being the gap, but also since we're technically trading back into the pre-weekly range and pre-week expanded higher, technically if we're going to continue from pre-week to go higher, we're going to respect either the refined key level or we're going to reach EQ, the pre-weekly range. So EQ, the pre-week range, is another target since there's nothing really beyond this gap being the refined key level. The next level would be pre-week range EQ. So either you're targeting pre-day low or EQ, the pre-weekly range. So now that we got candle limit going into 2200, now we got to ask, okay, is 2200 opening up within an line swing? Technically, it is on the winner, where we got C2, C3, and then 2200 is creating C4 on the winner. I never trade that. I always wait, especially since 2200 is obviously creating a gap. So any CSD or CICSD that forms within this candle's range on the lower time frame 5 and 3 minute is not going to be a protected swing because we know that price has a reason to return back above that high, right, to trade back into that gap. So it's not going to be a high probability protected swing. Because there's a reason to return back above it. So that's exactly what we do. We see price going into 2200, 23, so 2400 or midnight, 12, right? AM, we trade into it. We don't create S&T with the key level, refined key level, right? But we create a second stage PSP reversal sequence, right? Therefore, we can look for 1 a.m. C3, 2 a.m. going into London C4 continuation, right? But jumping down to the 30 minutes, we actually provided an entry before this that was valid, right, on the 30 minute. We created S&T fill, reversal sequence again, and then within that C2, we actually have a valid V shape that confirms that. So I could have taken this off the gap, the CSD, and then this was a valid entry, and this just proves like this is it's fucking insane. This is why it's like just take the fucking entry, just take it, because more times than not, price is gonna create that CICD within candle 3, right? And then it will allow you to therefore try your stop to break even most times not, or at least trim it by at least 1/2, right? Exactly what price does here. I get the entry off the CSD, price creates the CICC when expanding away from the CSD right during candle 3, which protects the candle 3 high. But Saturday price doesn't, and then I'm allowed to try my stop to break even, but then price V-shapes and goes back up. So there's no, I don't lose here. Definitely valid entry, even if I tried my stop to this high being about a little bit less than, or a little bit more than 1/2, almost like 3/4. I still would have lost like pretty much nothing. So I'm risking 500. I would have lost maybe 150, 200 bucks here, or break even, nothing. Right? Definitely worth the risk. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter. Going into, but then I wait. Okay, but then what's great about this is, just because I lost here doesn't mean that the price isn't, or that doesn't mean that the trade opportunity isn't, or is invalidated, right? I gotta fucking slow down. That doesn't mean that I can't trade still. I just gotta wait for further confirmation, right? I gotta let price show me what it's gonna do. You know, why did it not? Why did it do this? Alright, well, it came back up, and this was clean, right? It created that SMT, then obviously we just sparked that C2 during C3, as we've seen. Price created SMT break, but then it created that second stage PSP strength switch. Second stage PSP, which I forgot to put that on there. It was super fun. That was going into 1 AM, right? That was here on that early. So 1 AM expansion, same thing on the 30-minute. So now we gotta look within this C2 to be able to clean V-shape. We do just enter right there in C3, take it, put your stop at the rejection block or above Mitoshal D, CSD, whatever, and we'll take, you know, shiver 3R, and yeah, and then right when price expands away here, I can't go break even yet. I can't even try my stop loss. It's just not smart too. Waiting for that CICD though. Right when price closes here, that's when I can go break even. So it's a little bit riskier, but it's still valid. So definitely valid, and I wish I would have taken this. I wish I fucking seen it. Doesn't really matter though. As you'll see, there's plenty full of opportunities. And then Thursday was so clean. I didn't. One thing I also didn't see on Thursday was what YM was doing with the weekly profile itself. Thursday was so clean. Let me explain that. Let me just go on the charts to show you. Thursday. The week opened up here. This is Monday, and we can already see that prices opening up within a consolidation, right? They're finding key level on the daily closer to the week. They can open. We confirm the low of the week or high of the week away from is either pre-week low or pre-week high on YM, right? So since we're opening near pre-week low, and then think about phase of price level. What have we done overall? Price expanded higher, and then we're kind of consolidating, which is automatically a continuation, so we should ideally continue higher. Right, but also what supports that is price expanded higher, and then left failure swings, and there's actually failure to do with this side here, like way down here. So we just left failure swings, so there's a reason to continue higher, not just because price expanded and consolidated, right? But even then, expansion, consolidation, therefore we should see expansion again. But so that further therefore supports the profile for this week. But Monday opened up, consolidated, stayed within the consolidation, so I can't really do shit on Monday nor Tuesday, and then Wednesday expands lower. We do see some form of Tuesday SMT here. I didn't really, I don't know what I did here on this side. I don't feel like looking at it, but do create this here, and this is actually PSP, where we create SMT with pre-week high. Go ahead and ES was cleaner. We create SMT with pre-week high here. What are you going to say here? That's pretty high for NQ technically. You see how decoupled they are. YM is so far away from pre-week high, it's super close to pre-week low, while NQ is above pre-week high. It's kind of like advanced premium discount in a way. So, wow, that's high probability S&P if you think about it, spaced out. Well, YM is creating that S&P with a discount of the range pretty much. That's pretty high probability S&P, and then we get that string switch, 6-stage S&P, super clean. So and then obviously we know that that was going into Tuesday as well, right? On NQ and ES. As we already know, we're extremely bullish on both the weekly and daily. super clean, super clean. I did the trade in kilo, right? This week, I guess. That's why we see Tuesday expand and mine doesn't really do shit. But then we see Wednesday finally trades into the refined key level, a relevant level that we can actually see a new phase of price delivery away from, but we don't manipulate. So usually, therefore, I have to roll over or I have to anticipate the next day to manipulate, right? Reverse off pretty low. That's exactly what we do. But what is this profile, right? It's the weekly profile or candle formation supports the bullish framework, and the framework, the profile for the week is the, you know, what do you call it, consolidation reversal, right? Where Monday, Tuesday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday consolidates in a way, but Wednesday reaches the key level, doesn't manipulate, so therefore we're going to expect Thursday to manipulate or create the low of the week, and then Friday continue, right? The reason why I didn't like Thursday, and like I said, I wasn't looking at YM on Thursday. At least I don't think I did. I don't think I've seen it. But price did create that double sweep second stage S&T to confirm the low of day here. I don't really like that, but it's still valid. Ideally, we see that string switch, right? But we got that S&P here, here, right? Second stage. And it's actually logical for all assets to expand higher, because what we've done. But so yeah, let's do that. So framework order pair ranges, profile Thursday C2 reversal into expansion channel, and then we have obviously this is now like failure SMT, but we have the second stage SMT not string switching though sadly with the lows with the key level, which confirms the reversal day, confirms the framework, right? And then look at all these failure swings leading towards the overall higher time frame objective. Very, very clean. So dropping on the 4 hour, right? What do we do? Open up here. Right, super clean failure swings, the target level. This is the daily framework here. And so the framework is taking the same on the 4 hour. 1800 does manipulate away from pretty low, as we want to see it do. Right, we want to see price reverse away from pretty low, but 2am or 2200 fails to respect that. So therefore, 2am has to reverse off 2200's low because it fails to reverse. And ideally, when we create the low day away from the refined key level, you don't want to see price manipulate and then fail to manipulate rate. That's fine. If it does that, then we have it 2 chances, right? First time, if it doesn't reverse or expand away from the reversal, then it needs to re-manipulate and then expand away the second time. This is super clean. And the fact that we did that, that's super clean. But you don't want to see price create the low day, reverse, expand away, but then or reverse but fail to expand away. Then it reverse again, but then fail to expand away again, and then just keep doing that. And that's just a low probability day. You just want to skip it. But the fact that we did it the second time, super clean. But nevertheless, we got the profile 2am manipulation C2, right, confirming the low day. So now we can look for 6am C3 continuation. We got that second stage here. Okay. Right. And so you could trade 2M because it's force expansion, or I could trade 6M, or I could trade 10M because we still have the higher time frame objective still open. Right? Ideally, though, you wouldn't want to trade 2PM, especially since it's the last 4 hours of the day. Typically, price will just consolidate, right? Although there's still open targets, it's because we're creating C5, extremely bullish into not relevant levels, but we're just into levels that can cause price to not reverse, but obviously retrace or consolidate before continuing higher going into the next day. But 6am, 10am are still valid to trade for sure. Jump into the 1 hour, 30 minute though. Alright, let's work out the daily opens here. Okay, so Um, so yeah, like today, 800 opened up to pretty low. It looked like it reversed right prior to 2200, but what did it do? It expanded, and then today opened up and consolidated. So as a continuation bearish, so it makes sense to continue. You can't look at that as a problem. C2 in the forward. So we remanipulate as we should. They're in 2200. Problem is we kind of just continue with the extension lower, but what really confirms the reversal is if we expand away, right? And so let's go to the 30 minute. 30 minute was very clean. This was definitely a good opportunity to take. We got that Tuesday adjusted peak from reversal. Here we held it. We actually created a PSP here with NQ. I was mainly focused on NQ. I'll show what NQ did on Wednesday. It was actually still pretty clean, even by how prices delivered, beating the seek and destroy profile, open high, open low, right? Consolidation. It's still very clean to anticipate continuation here. It's just the driver at 9:30 failed to respect 6 a.m.'s line sequence, right? Anyways, so 2 a.m. Credit that fucking PSP here. So obviously YM is the weakest asset of the trade, but I liked the PA more, and that's why I'm showing this time period. PA was fine, but simply I would have traded YM despite the fact that it's weaker. But we created that PSP and then C3 reversal on YM, and then that C3 created the CSD. Super clean. So realistically, this obviously confirms low day, low of the 4-hour candle. You could have taken an entry off that for CSC, not having to drop down to the 5 or 3 minute. As we're trading the reversal of, the reversal. So the RR automatically is going to be higher. Either we're targeting EQ, the pretty range, right? This high here with an EQ, which is, I think, it's a very logical area to take profit out. Especially since this would still be a 3R, pretty much 3.5. Very, very easy target. It's very easy for price to reach up, which is a higher probability. You want to have as least as little resistance as possible, and then or pretty high. Even then, like I said, we know these super clean for listeners. We should knife through all this. It's just there's no guarantee that price will reach this high here, super far away. So I think that this could be a potential partial. And then maybe you just hold for the main chart, take profit at 11R. Nevertheless, let's look at the, now we have kind of limit though, on the 1 hour 30 minute, line with the 4 hour, line with the daily. So now we can see expansion. Let's drop it to the 3 and 5 minute, guys, 230 C3. Let's look at the 3 minute. And one thing I didn't like about this is the large ass CST that the 5 and 3 minute was forming here. But what made it clean is the fact that we, during 2:30, you can see definitely 2:30 with C2, 3M C3, 3:30 C4, right? The expansion away with this large gap and then creating a failure swing. Oh, dude, that's like a no-brainer. So clean. So you don't have to demand the CST. The fact that we created that V shape right there by itself confirms a reversal. You don't have to really be that mechanical with it. And then, but waiting for obviously for the. Ideally, the gamble would have been entering off of the gap itself, and then waiting for that CST to form, and then you control your stop here, right? That would be very clean, assuming that C230 will expand it. But continue to at least make new highs above here. But I think the best entry would have been obviously waiting for the CST to form, taking that right there. Stop at the rejection block. Shoot for, like I said, literally current to high, guaranteed target, easy target. Even, like I said, the high here at EQ, the pretty range is a very clean, easy target for price to reach. But enter on the lower time from here, targeting current to high would be pretty much a 4R, right? But you could hold for the main, this high here, which is a rather high on the 1 hour 30 minute with an EQ, the pretty range, right? Very clean target. And then assuming we'll expand, right? And then right when price creates this here, the CICSD, away from the original CSD pretty much, that's when I can go, or actually my stops right there. It's a little bit clean, but yeah, I would go break even. I'd put my stop right here. And then the price deliver, and then the expansion away here, super clean. Already prices at the 1 hour. I was able to go break even literally at a 0.5 hour. That's how powerful this shit is. And then, yeah. And then price just you see that expansion signature. Here was super clean. We got like some form of S&P fill, I think. Yeah, anyways. And then price shoots higher and just goes, shoots for the man, pretty much. Reaches the target levels, so. So we go into 6 a.m. as well. So yeah. So that was Thursday during London. Let's look at what I was gonna do during New York AM during the driver though. On the indices, right, on NQ, or yes. So I said the daily profile is search and destroy, so lower probability. But if 6 a.m. were to close with a prominent C3, then 10 a.m. C4 would definitely be valid. Such clean asset sync at play as well. So on ES, you know, going in Thursday, I already know the framework, the profile of the S&T, everything, the phase of price delivery, everything is super clean. So even though looking at ES here, thinking that, okay, this looks very unclean, we can refer to YM and realize, okay, it's actually not that unclean. It's pretty clear. So even this here is very clear and clean, but the weekly profile on ES is search and destroy as well, kind of like, or delayed. So delayed profile, we open high and then open low. But even then, we create some D with pre-week low, manipulate on Wednesday, but remember Thursday obviously decided to take pretty low on YM. So we have like that 2-stage SMT, but it's technically string switching going on Thursday because ES closed with a bearish, or created that PSP right on Wednesday, and then Thursday created that failure swing SMT. So it was once weaker, now stronger, which confirms the 6 stage SMT or PSP confirms the reversal day. But the framework would be order pair ranges on ES. The profile would be Thursday C2 reversal into expansion candle. The SMT would be the 6 stage SMT or PSP string switching. And we know that we have a reasoning to continue on YM, so it's very clean. Jumping down to the 4 hour. What did today do? This was very clean, but not clean at the same time. Today opened up at 1800 and immediately expanded higher. NQ is the strongest asset, so it traded into pretty high, our current week high, creating SMT, and then we V-shaped away. So it was prominent SMT at the time. Not necessarily because of the space, right? It was close proximity to SMT, which is pretty clean, but the reversal or expansion away from the SMT really confirmed it. But then what disrespected it is the fact that 2 a.m. created that strong switch, second stage SMT in the form of string switching, right? Which also validates the expansion higher to break that SMT, so it became fully SMT. So the framework would be order pair ranges, the profile would be 2 a.m. C2, 6 a.m. C3 continuation, and I was wanting to see 6 a.m. close with a proper C3 closure, right? When it actually makes sense why price reversed here, because we created that second stage SMT, and because of the profile, right? We created that delayed profile, we open higher, we open lower, and typically when we are seeking a string. Same thing. So the fact that we did that, typically we usually just target current day high, but the main thing is I didn't really see that as a thing that should hold price, or I guess keep price from reaching the main higher time objective level or breaking this SMT, because of the fact that we're still like very early on in the day. Price still has time to expand. Typically we only do that because it's like 10 a.m. Price doesn't really have enough time to expand, etc. It's already done too much. But I thought we still had more than enough time, and it definitely did. But still, it kind of makes sense why we did this. Just wanted to follow that seek and destroy profile, right? Consolidation. But So yeah, framework order ranges, profile to C2 looking for 6 AM C3 continuation, and the SMT would be um, the 6 day, the strength switch 6 day SMT with the lows, which confirms the reversal day. You can even trade 2 AM. I didn't really like it though. Like I said, 2 AM was a cleaner on YM. I was not up at that time, so I don't care about it. Also, but that strength switch confirms the expansion higher to break this SMT. So, and then the V-shape away here confirms this is for the SMT. Right. There you go. So, going into 6 AM, we expand higher. And then the main thing is, obviously, what do we do part of the river? Where we expand higher during 6 AM. We took this high out, created SMT, so I was not moving that as prominent 6 AM SMT because of the continuous stacking of failure swings upon failure swings, right? It's just failure SMT at that point. There's a reason to return back above these highs, so it's not a protected swing, therefore it's not a protected or prominent SMT. But, what do we do prior to the river? We expand higher into a key level, create that 6 SMT. And so we know any movement away is obviously retracement. You can't reverse away from these in my eyes. So we expand higher into a key level and then consolidate prior to the driver, so therefore the driver has to manipulate or reverse away from a key level. We've got to see a new phase price of the week. And so the refined key level would be this gap. And that would be the GXT align sequence, right? We know this 6 AM 4 hour candle only supports expansion bullishly, so I want to align a 1 hour 30 minute candle with expansion, with that expansion, right? Get a simple time frame alignment, or whatever. So 9:30 to completely just displaces or expands through that gap, completely disrespecting, because that larger wick on the 1 hour 30 minutes, so we can't trade this, and validating the overall bias, right? So that's why I didn't trade this. But it was still clean. That was another opportunity. Right there was 3, or what, I think just, 2 opportunities on, just within this day. Possible opportunities. One good opportunity during London on YM, I think that was definitely clean. And then a possible opportunity during your game, during the driver, that price didn't even provide an entry during, didn't even provide a CSD on the lower time frame, so there would be literally no entry. So it doesn't matter. But now we're going into Friday. Friday, the cleanest day of the week. Right? The day that I actually traded. I don't know if I want to use, I don't think I'm going to write this up. I'm just going to hurry up and do this video. I'm just going to look at the log that I did. Just look at the photos. This was like the cleanest log that I've ever done too. Or journal. So yeah. Right, so, the bias, I was mainly focused on YM. Because obviously PA was just cleaner overall with what this week was doing. But we already know everything, right? That's just so clean that I did this. Anyways, so the framework on the daily is order per ranges. The profile is Thursday low the week C2, looking for Friday continuation simply as Thursday left the pre-week high open and plus these highs here. So it makes sense to continue. And then the SP would be that 6 stage SMP, not in the form of switching, so just double sweep with the lows confirming the framework. So Friday is going to continue, as it has a reason to. It's very valid, very logical. It should respect EQ of the pre range to create that expansion channel. First invalidation level, jumping in the 4. Okay. Finding the validation level. We see 1800 opened up, kind of traded lower, then higher, so it's kind of like, again, that seek and destroy profile. Annoying, but it's not that bad. But we can see that 1800 created that refined key level, that gap. And then 2 AM reached into the key level, failed to manipulate, so therefore we have to anticipate 6 AM to either create C3, but ideally it reverses off a pre-far kind of low to create that C2 reversal into expansion as it did. See what I said, this the framework would be internal and external. The profile would be 6 AM C2 reversal into expansion canal, and the SMT would be the 2 AM created that PSP, and then 6 AM because of 2 AM failed to manipulate. We can anticipate 6 AM to create that 6 AM PSP, which would therefore confirm the reversal candle, right? The reversal in general. So I was originally looking to trade YM, but then I switched to MNQ. Oh yeah, that's right. For multiple reasons. This was so logical. I'm happy I thought about this. MNQ is stronger than YM overall on the daily, right? Number 2, SS sync was clean for NQ to catch up to YM. Therefore, so I knew that price during the driver shouldn't take out lows, therefore a high chance of not getting stopped out, and that actually did save me. But so PO was just cleaner. I wouldn't have traded YM anyways. It doesn't matter. But so yeah, that's the 4 hour. Now we got to think. Okay, jump into the 1 hour 30 minute. What did we do prior to the driver? Because I'm training 6 a.m. That's the main time I'm really focused on the NSCs, right? So 6 a.m. kind of opened up here. So what did we do prior to 6 a.m.? This was very clean. We could have SMT fill. Yeah, we actually had SMT fill with the daily current day low here. And during 2 a.m. we failed to expand away. So we had the resweep. We do, and then we just consolidate again. So like I said, that's not ideal. So you just have to take expansion away to confirm the reversal. So what we do, when we do that, the leading assets trade into the current day high, creating SMT. We know that's failure SMT because of multiple reasons. One, all assets reverse away from the original SMT. Typically that means that all assets will reach the same target level. 2, this SMT is being printed within premium of the range, therefore it's probably not going to hold. And then 3, all 3, right, that's pretty much everything that you need to see. Price after creating SMT, consolidated, we inside word, super clean. Expansion met by consolidation is always met by expansion. Continuation. High fucking probability. So, what do we do prior to 9:30? Prior to the driver, we consolidate. Right, prior to 9 a.m. we expand, create the SMT, consolidate. This is actually a gap on ES, and so I was anticipating we traded into this key level, so I was anticipating 9 a.m. to reverse off this kind of low to create that. Ideally, the strength switch S&P fill on NQ, right? And that's exactly what we do. And what really confirmed that is the lower time frame signature around the 530. We V-shape away, creating that clean CSD rate with gaps. So I simply just executed off the gaps, off the CSD itself, within the gaps. And then right when price created that CSD during this candle 2, I trailed my stop prior to the driver's opening. So I trimmed my stop by not even 1/2, by more than 1/2, by 3/4. So I risked like 500, and then I trimmed to like 200 or some shit. And this was super clean. I was so happy that price did this. Price retraced into that CIC and then created a new CICD, expanded higher away from my entry prior to 9:30. I was so happy. I wanted to see that because now that allowed breathing room for 9:30 to maybe manipulate this low, maybe even retest my entry, but it probably shouldn't take this low out, right? So it just allows breathing room. The 9:30 open to my stop loss, there's a large range at that point, so I just have a higher chance of price not coming down, edging my stop loss, and then going higher. So therefore, so yeah, what do we do per the driver? We reverse, we create that string 6-stage SMT, or that technically, right, that string switch SMT fill. So the driver should continue. That was crazy. I could have made like a 20R. I didn't think the driver was gonna do that, not gonna lie. If I just let my fucking entry on the if I didn't take off, or if I had like a fixed R, pretty much. But it doesn't make sense to target beyond the side because there's nothing beyond it. It's like all-time highs, and it's failure SMT. So we can definitely, once price breaks that SMT, we can get a new phase price delivery. So it's just not logical to target beyond this side, or to take power beyond it. Even if I was like demanding a 4R, I would not do that. Either it doesn't matter. But when price created the CICD, I didn't try my stop to break even. I actually kept it here, knowing that I wanted to allow that breathing room for 9:30 to do what it needed to do. If it needed to take this low, then retest my entry. That's fine, as long as it doesn't take this low. I'm good. So, anyways, price expanded higher, reached my 3R, and here's the execution. I don't know why I took off a partial here. I just did because I wanted to bag something, and I think it was like $50 or some shit. I don't know, but see, I said notes. I trimmed my stop loss by 3/4 once the CICC formed. I was happy to see how 9 a.m. closed and created a new CICC. This allowed breathing room between 9:30 open to my entry or trim stop loss. Yeah, very clean. Very, very clean. I even posted it into the GXC channel here. A lot of people reacted to it. Nice. What's crazy about this is I just keep seeing opportunities left and right, fucking everywhere. And it's like, bro, it's because the only reason why I'm not taking them is either because I'm not disciplined enough, I'm not sitting in front of the charts, I'm not there looking, like, being focused. But it's just trades that I know I would have fucking taken. And my win rate, I know when price is shit, I know when to avoid PA. Like, my win rate's like easily 80 to 90% or 100%. So it's like, annoying. It's really annoying, but it doesn't matter. Trading is all about not being consistent every day, right? It's not about trying to trade every day. It's about making money over time, being profitable, just slowly increasing your balance over time, pretty much. So, but one thing that I gotta be mindful of is I have one more week. I would have already passed this profit within the first week. That's why I'm happy I took this. I definitely deserve it. It's about fucking time. So I'm not really like happy. I really don't. I'm not really emotional about it. I really don't care because I know I should have already traded like 6 times by now. So it's not really that crazy. But just gotta ease into it. But fucking, I have one more week till this profit for me is a gonzo. Either I pass it or I don't. So, but this is like a huge eye opener for me. You know, I now have learned that, you know, there's no reason not to take these trades. Even if it doesn't look too clean, just take it. Because more times than not, I'm going to be able to trim my stop loss by at least 1/2 or more. Therefore, you know, with that $1,300 that I made, I'm going to be able to fucking, you know, take as many trades, and more times than not, like I said, as long as I don't overtrade, as long as I'm not greedy, how I have been, you know, my win rate's massively, like, it's high. I have a high percentage win rate. Like, it's like at least 80%. So guaranteed, I'll be very, very surprised if I don't pass it next week. I'll be very fucking happy if I do, because that's my main goal for the end of this year, is to pass a profit firm, and I'm only halfway through it. So, and if I pass this profit firm, who knows where that will lead to? Who knows what will change after that? Because I'm not kidding. If you set goals and if you're consistent towards those goals, anything is fucking possible. I've proven to myself that I can become a millionaire, a billionaire, even though that sounds very cheesy. I don't care. I believe it because I've seen proof. Proof is in the process. There's a saying, I forgot. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. I forgot though. But proof is in the process. And there's nothing stopping this. You know, it's almost like the universe is playing out how it should. And I'm deserving, but I'm not deserving of it. I definitely need to work harder. But that'll come the more I don't know. I'm gonna work harder no matter what. It's hard, but I'm gonna work harder. I think the universe is telling me right now that if you really want, you gotta work harder. You gotta prove to me. You gotta prove to yourself. And I know that I have proved myself, but I haven't. I'm like 50% the way there. But yeah, this is only the beginning. Anyways.